It doesn't matter what sport it is. Any sport that we get attached to gives us moments that tug on our heartstrings. NASCAR has no shortage whatsoever of these moments. Instead of a team, we pull for an individual. I'd like to think that because of this fact, it brings us closer to them and it heightens our emotions. To see a struggle, a loss, a championship, and a personal triumph for someone you have invested time in is much different than a team. Because they are completely different and for separate reasons, I will not include a driver's death in this video. On one hand, they would be ahead of most emotional moments on here. On the other hand, I think it would be a bit disrespectful to both the driver and their families to use footage of a crash that led to their death in a video like this. It's something that I personally am not comfortable whatsoever with doing. I think it's important to point out before we start that these are in no particular order. They're not ranked. So with this being known, let's look at 10 moments, both good and bad, that drove us to tears. So starting off, we have Richard Petty's final moments as a NASCAR driver. Richard Petty was, is, and forever will be the king of NASCAR. With 200 wins, and also at the time being the only 7-time champion in Cup Series history, his retirement truly was the end of the pioneer chapter of NASCAR racing. His final lap after the 1992 Hooters 500, with stands packed full of fans while the song Richard Petty Fans by Alabama playing, was a touching way to end his tenure. Fitting for a king. Next up, we have Martin Truex Jr.'s win and celebration of the 2016 Coca-Cola 600. Truex flat out owned the race. He led 392 of 400 laps, which is 588 of the 600 miles. The post-race interview is where the waterworks began. On its own, this was a continuation of Truex becoming an elite driver, the one that he is today. Of course, this would make him emotional. The waterworks really began to flow, though, when Martin's girlfriend Sherry entered the picture. Pollux had been battling ovarian cancer since 2014. The moment that the microphone was in front of her, everyone watching had to have had a lump in their throat. It's a moment that should never be overlooked in NASCAR history. Next up is a comeback triumph from Ernie Irvan. Irvan was in the thick of the 1994 championship hunt, trailing Dale Earnhardt by 27 points with 11 races to go. Unfortunately, that would be the calm before the storm of his life, as in a practice session at Michigan, Irvan cut a tire and crashed, leaving him with life-threatening injuries to his brain and lungs. And according to doctors at the hospital, it gave him only a 10% chance of surviving the night. Against the odds, he did. He recovered and was racing by the end of the 1995 season. In 1997, he would conquer the track that nearly stole his life, Michigan International Speedway, and it was a testament to the man's willpower. Next up is the first of the more tragically motivated stories. In March of 1997, Truck Series driver John Nemechek passed away in an accident at the Homestead Miami Speedway in a truck race. Later that year, his older brother Joe Nemechek took home the victory at the track that claimed John's life. The moment was one of triumph and closure, as well as a great showing of strength by Joe. The next moment is a bit more of an upbeat one. This one is from the 1993 Daytona 500, the Dale and Dale Show. In this, Dale Jarrett dueled Dale Earnhardt for victory. That, on its own, would make for a memorable moment and have a memorable name. But what makes it heartwarming is the fact that Dale Jarrett's parents were both being filmed nervously watching their son hold off the man in black. Ned as the broadcaster for CBS, Martha from afar in the infield. Ned, the usually professional to a fault broadcaster, was out the window as Ned the dad called his son to a Daytona 500 victory. The enthusiasm along with the post-race interview is enough to leave anybody's eyes a little bit wet. The next moment is a moment of healing. Kevin Harvick had been tasked with driving Richard Childress's premier car, replacing the late Dale Earnhardt. It was unclear how the hot-headed rookie would fare, But after only 3 races, it cleared up to the fact that Harvick was a worthy successor. With less than 10 to go, he was locked in an intense battle with Jerry Nadeau, Dale Jarrett, Dale Jr., and Jeff Gordon. With a lap to go, it came down to the white 29 and the red and blue 24. And in a repeat of Earnhardt's win only a year earlier at Atlanta, Harvick beat out the Intimidator's former championship rival by 6 1/1000ths of a second. It was a moment to let all emotions out. As was the next moment in Atlanta. In 2004, Hendrick Motorsports suffered a terrible loss when an HMS plane with 10 people on it crashed, and all 10 passed away, including Rick's son Ricky, his brother, and both of his nieces, as well as engine builder and close friend Randy Dorton. In respect to the victims, a design with their pictures was put on all of Hendrick's cars, with the respectful phrase, "always in our hearts," on them. Jimmy Johnson managed to bring home his number 48 Lowe's machine with a victory, a much-needed victory. Tears would be flowing from the moment he crossed the line on. The next moment brought everyone to a similar, happier place. 1998 was the 20th season that Dale Earnhardt would try to win the Daytona 500. He had found just about every way to lose that race, sliding through his pits late, having a flat tire with a mile to go, flipping while going for the lead. He even hit a seagull while leading. So, when he led late in the 1998 Daytona 500, everyone, including Bill France Jr., was wondering when it would all go wrong. But as we all know, it didn't. He would take the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. The post-race saw every crew member on pit road coming out to congratulate him. In the stands, according to people who were there, everyone was hugging each other, even if they didn't know who the other person was. Between all of this and his excited demeanor, it was a moment for anyone watching to never forget. The next moment is one of the more recent ones on the list, the 2015 Fall Martinsville race, Jeff Gordon's final win. The door for this win was opened as the man who dominated the race in Joey Logano was taken out late. Gordon would assume the lead deep into the race and hold off Jamie McMurray, Dale Jr., and Denny Hamlin to score his 93rd and final victory. The win locked him into the Final Four to compete for the 2015 championship. I can say from being there that much of the grandstands were in happy tears, as we all knew what we had witnessed was a special moment in all of sports. And the final moment on this list is, of course, the 2001 Pepsi 400. In July of 2001 at Daytona, every set of eyes were on Dale Earnhardt Jr., returning to the place where his father had passed only 4.5 months prior. Earnhardt responded well to the pressure, dominating the race. But on the final restart, he would roll off 6th. The competition in front of him didn't stand a chance, as he quickly took the lead back and had teammate Michael Waltrip right behind him in 2nd. The post-race celebration with the two embracing in the tri-oval grass alongside of all of DEI, as well as Junior's celebration in Victory Lane, was the most emotional moment in NASCAR history for some. Add to this Alan Bestwick's legendary call, and you have the ingredients for a moment to make everyone shed at least one tear. And with that, I think that these were 10 moments that drove all of us NASCAR fans to tears. Now, I want to pass it on to you. What is the most emotional NASCAR moment that you have watched, whether it be happy or sad? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content if you haven't already. And until next time, have a good one.